And tell me the first things that you notice as you allow the images to begin to drift in.
It looks like ancient Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm walking on a path. The air is arid, so it feels desert-like. I have a white tunic type outfit on with a gold belt-like rope.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Do you feel male or female in that body?
I'm female.
Mm-hmm. Do you get a sense of your age? Do you feel young, old? Does a number come to mind?
I'm in my 40s.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And so as you're walking along this path, what else do you notice?
I have an urn in my hand.
Mm-hmm. What is the urn for?
It's filled with water.
Mm-hmm. Where do you imagine you're taking that water?
I'm taking it to a pool. That's in a cave,
Mm-hmm.
underground cave. So I was starting to see it earlier. It's an underground cave. It's where I go to see things.
Hmm. What kind of things do you go to see?
I go to see events in the future, answering questions for there is a scribe that is about 10 feet behind me so that I cannot feel his presence too strongly,
Hmm.
accompanying me so he takes notes
Mm-hmm.
as I describe what I see. I'm a little bit nervous this
Hmm.
time.
What do you imagine is causing you to feel nervous?
I have an uneasiness about where we're going in the future.
Hmm.
And it seems as if we are headed towards some wars. And there's a part of me that already knows this.
Mm-hmm.
But it is my job. It is my life purpose. I was raised to do this. And it was a lot more, or it used to be about bringing in knowledge and wisdom, and it
Mm-hmm.
has shifted to the knowledge and wisdom part was much more fun, more interesting, and it seemed more helpful. And I do understand how helpful that this information is, and it is needed, but it is more difficult to look at and to see because while I do this, my whole being also feels it. It is not just seeing. It is like being transported as I pour the water into the pool. and I start seeing images. It is as if I go there and see it and feel it and have a very in-depth understanding of what it is to come. And I also realize that these events are not written in stone, but there is a great probability that they will come to pass. And it's hard to be in that.
What are some of the emotions that you're feeling as you see these events that might come to pass?
It's an overwhelming, just emotional pain, loss. People people dying, seeing people burning buildings, seeing just wars occurring. Some of them will not be able to be stopped. And so there's also, after feeling the pain of seeing suffering, seeing there is a hopelessness also, because there is nothing that I can do except give warnings.
So, as you are able to see into the future and bring this information in at this time, is there any way that it can be changed or avoided?
For a time, it can be held off, but there is much. We have come from a society that was much more peaceful, and there is a movement towards greed and just manipulation. And so it's watching the tides turning towards more darkness.
What happened to cause that turn towards the darkness?
Interesting. So some of the leaders of the lands that are far and near, some of them are young and newer. So some of the positions of power have changed. And with some of it is immaturity and manipulation from the leaders around some of these, the people giving them advice, the advisors. Some of them are just wicked. That's a good word. And also there is one of these leaders in particular, actually, from what I am seeing, is not mentally stable. Which is part of the issue too. So this is a leader that does not have wisdom nor clarity, or even a clear mind and emotions. There is a huge issue with what I'm seeing with this one leader. So they will. This is one of the invading forces. That is coming. So for a time, it can be held off, and I am hearing the words Alexandria.
Mm-hmm. What do those words mean?
Alexandria, a place.
Is that where you are? Or is that who's coming for you?
This is part of the Great Wars of Alexandria, and
Okay.
I'm not getting much more about that.
Okay. And so this area that you're bringing this information for, are you bringing this in? What type of leader are you providing this information to? Is it a king or
An emperor?
an emperor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this emperor that you're bringing this information to, is this a more peaceful emperor, or how do you feel about him?
It has been, but he knows the tides are changing also. And we have a strong army. So he knows that it's just a matter of time also.
Hmm. So as you look into the water today, what is it that you see?
I see, mostly I see just the same thing. It's invading
Mm-hmm.
forces. I see buildings, homes on fire,
Mm-hmm.
people screaming, running, chaos.
And this is within where you are that this is happening?
It will happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. And so as you see this information, tell me what happens next. Where do you go with it? What do you do?
I give the information to the scribe as I see it, and then we go see the emperor and discuss it with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I really dislike giving bad news very much.
How does he react with the news that you bring?
He is, but what I also see is, he really takes it in, like
Mm-hmm.
really listens, like he's sitting and listening very carefully and closely, and you can tell he's considering it on a very deep level, and then he is speaking to some of his advisors who are now. I do really appreciate his advisors. He has some advisors that are very wise.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his advisors was my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that it is not just me who is helping him
Mm-hmm.
with seeing things, and there are others who look to see also. But I also see that this one main battle that I see as that coming, they are able to hold it off, to stop it, but
Mm-hmm.
not without some damage and loss and casualties. But this is just the first of battles coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He is very wise, and there is a strong army. that he has cultivated.
Very good. So as you look around this scene with the emperor and the advisors, is there anything else that you notice or anything that stands out to you?
Looking at, I am just looking at everything I see as far as being in this beautiful, it is incredibly beautiful. And this society has been one of knowledge and seeking wisdom for many, many centuries, and of art and beauty, and looking around, and it is very beautiful here. I have a sadness because I know, and I haven't shared this fully with, I haven't shared all the information that I see yet, because I know that at some point this empire will be fully destroyed, and that and I carry that in my heart and have not shared that.
How does that feel to you to have the weight of that information?
Sad.
Yes.
Because we have come so far as a society, as far as art and culture and love, and not everything is perfect, but it is there is much because there's so much understanding of life and wisdom in philosophy, and a connection. There is a connection to spirit here that is also cultivated, and I'm a product of that. That they also cultivate being connected to one's greater wisdom. Not everyone is chosen to do this, but they also cultivate that, and that is going to be hidden and tucked away too, which makes me feel very sad too. It will become, what I am doing will become at some point a lost art. It will still exist, but it will be hidden.
So I just want you to close out that scene and just close it out. And we're going to move forward to another important scene, something that you need to see and to be there now. Tell me what you notice around you.
I am seeing things being burnt around me. And I'm being whisked away into some caves, some underground hidden caves. This is much later. There are invading forces. The palace is being taken over.
What kinds of emotions are you feeling at this moment?
It's more of a sense of having to get away and that my job is done. And a few of us there's an outlet from these caves to some boats to the water.
So tell me what happens.
I am leaving with some other people. It is it's sad, but the overwhelming sense that I had before of sadness is not there anymore because things have come to pass. And I feel my job is done to a certain degree, so I can go live in a more peaceful place that is away from here. That is not a great city that someone wants to take over, conquer.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
I'm
good.
sad for the people who are stuck there. Their
Mm.
lives will be changed.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to move forward all the way to the end of that life. And just moving forward in time to the last day of that life. And as you look back over that lifetime, what ended up happening to you? Where did you go and what did you do?
I moved to the mountains
Mm-hmm.
where there were a few other seers who do the same thing that I do. We have it's a couple of houses. We have a small farm. We take care of each other. We're very isolated, but we are connected through our gifts. We do receive messages through some carriers bring us messages on occasion about what's going on very far away from us. Mostly I still feel sadness because I cannot do more. But truly there's nothing that I could do. So there is still sadness in my heart, and yet knowing that I lived and served my purpose fully, and truly loved the people, the community. There was a sisterhood that existed there too. That when we worked together, that was a true bond that brought us brought each other solace.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, that I know that I am dying, and I'm fine with that because I see so much that I know the other side. I know I will be fine.
Very good. And so, as you gain a deeper understanding of that lifetime, what was the purpose or the reason that you chose that lifetime for yourself?
I have these gifts, and I am supposed to use them to help humanity in any way that I can.
Very good. And how are these gifts that you had in this life, how are they connected to Lorena's current life?
There are similarities as far as she sees now what humanity is going through very, very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a correlation, a deep correlation. So sometimes it is very hard for her to see it, and people, it is, you cannot share these feelings of what you see to most people. And so it can become overwhelming on occasion. And the advice is to remain connected to spirit and to a community that holds the same values and has similar gifts, so that you really truly can support each other through these difficult times.
Very good. And so, is she still holding any of that sadness, any of that emotional pain in the body? Is she storing that in the heart?
Yes.
Now that we've taken a look at that lifetime and we know that she did the very best that she could, let's begin to release that sadness and let it go.
Coughing it out.
That's okay. Let that all come out. Release that energy. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, I'm feeling waves of as part of what's in my shoulder.
That sadness, you're storing that there?
Too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's other things too, but that's part of it, definitely.
Okay. So
there's one more. Hold on.
go ahead. And if you need to take a drink of water, you can, okay? How does that feel? Do you feel that you were releasing?
It's like a big tube of something in my heart coming out.
Okay. That's the guides too that are with us to assist you in just pulling that tube out. And you can visualize taking your hands or even take your physical hands and continue to pull out that energy.
And also I am getting that, seeing part of the correlation from that lifetime in this lifetime is having my siblings with cystic fibrosis. Part of it also, as far as just witnessing suffering and feeling hopeless, but at the same time doing as much as you can.
Yes. So let's begin to bring in a healing energy in those areas where all of that energy has just been released. What color would you like to use in that space?
Aqua blue, light, and there's some golden light in there too.
Beautiful. And just visualizing and tuning in to those high frequency colors, the white, the aqua, the golden. And flooding that heart space where all of that density has been released, all of that sadness. And flowing those beautiful colors into that shoulder where you've been holding all of that energy for so long and it's been causing you that pain. Expanding that energy out throughout the entire body. And as you work with this energy, tell me what you see or what you feel.
I'm just seeing it going through my body and feeling buzzy, very buzzy. Also getting information about that there is a different way to connect with information and energy so that you're not so personally connected, that that in seeing you can feel it, but to a different extent, that so you're not karmically binding yourself to what is going on. So, and then have to heal it. That there is a way of seeing it, knowing it, and being empathic also, because it comes through the body. Some information always comes through the body first. But you don't have to, there is a way of not taking it on. And this is where more learning needs to take place, how to separate out of that and not, it's not that you don't feel it, but you don't connect to it. There's a way of not it's not disconnecting, but not, it's hard to describe it there because it's so subtle that you don't take it on. It passes through you, and people and Lorena herself, there is a belief that you have to, when you feel it, that you take it on, and really there is a way of not taking it on. You let it pass through, giving you the information. This way it does not get stuck, or there is not an overreaction, and then it becomes a deeply held emotion that you can, there is a way of having that not happen. This is part of it, is learning how to do that and separating out of it.
So what is the best way for her to begin to see more of this information, but to keep that disconnection? What would you suggest for her particularly to do?
First, as a reminder that it is not me, it is coming through me. And to remind herself, it is not me, it is coming through me, it is information. And part of what we have done already is going to help her, because there was a lot of emotion around that in this lifetime, around feeling other people's stuff too much.
Is that keeping her from tapping into more of those seer abilities that she has?
It is part of it. Part of it is also a fear around giving information will hurt people, or trigger people, or so it will hurt them, but also that it could hurt her in some way, which has also happened in previous lifetimes.
What does she need to understand about those abilities in this lifetime, and how she should use them?
She is already doing it. Meditate more. Do more clearing exercises will help. Definitely more clearing exercises will help, because energy gets stuck. And as being an energy healer, she knows this well, which is kind of funny, to work on building the energy body, as far as strengthening the energy body. And there are energy exercises that she is aware of that she could do to build the energy body. And also, while doing this, she can get information as she does more of this building of the energy body and becoming more connected to energy body. And when we say energy bodies, we mean energy bodies, more than one, all of them. That what happens is that it becomes more differentiated. And as it becomes more differentiated, more specific information will come in, and things will become much more clearer. And the level of information that comes in will become greater also.
Very good. And so while we're taking a look through her body, is there any blocks that we need to release for her today so that that energy can flow through smoothly?
Yes, there is some in the throat and
Mm-hmm.
also more behind the shoulder blade.
Okay.
Still lodged there. So in the throat area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that something that you
Yeah.
can help release for her today? The throat and the shoulder? Do we need to take a deeper look at that?
We can do some right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do some right now.
Let's begin to just pull that energy that she's holding in that throat, just releasing it, giving it to source to transmute, or releasing that energy down to Gaia. And what's being held in the shoulder area? We looked at some of that's past life connection, but there may be some other things there as well. What's she got going on back there?
There has been, well, the throat is definitely from speaking truth,
Mm-hmm.
being killed for it, and not just from being a seer or having abilities, but just speaking her truth.
Mm-hmm.
So not safe to just be yourself. So that is leaving now in the shoulder.
Very good.
The shoulder is wounds, but there's been multiple wounds in this one place through several lifetimes that we are seeing.
Can we begin to heal those wounds with a light and energy?
There's like layers. We can see layers. Like,
Okay.
yes, let's.
What would you like to use to begin to release those layers?
We're just seeing simultaneous lifetimes of several things coming out. So
Mm-hmm.
one is being pulled out of some water uh, where she almost died. Well, very close to death, where there's a wound in that shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a birthing process in one lifetime where the shoulder was damaged from being pulled out of the womb. Um, also on a battlefield where that shoulder was behind there, was blasted with mortar.
Mm.
So all of that. Okay, so the energy is being released.
Very good. And would it be beneficial to send some of that healing energy that we're working with back through those lifetimes for healing?
Would
Would that help any?
happening.
Okay.
Sort of a realignment happening right now.
Beautiful.
All the way from toes up to shoulder, through
Mm.
this, yeah, everywhere.
Very good.
We are now there sending golden light through there, golden, white, and blue, many colors of blue going through there with gold and white and silver.
Mm. Very good.
So Lorena has tried to do this work through many lifetimes, and we say try because some lifetimes have not been very successful, and some very successful. So, and she has had many incarnations carrying this energy of healing and seeing and assisting. But her soul does need, in this lifetime, for this lifetime, need more love.
Mm-hmm.
to be surrounded by more love. What she does is very solitary.
Mm-hmm.
So love would be, to bring love in would be a wonderful component for strengthening also everything in her life.
Beautiful. And what color would love be for her?
It's a beautiful color of pink, but pink with a shimmer of, there's some shimmery blue in there.
Mm-hmm.
Shimmers of blue and periwinkle and gold and yellow, sort of like these beings. When Lorena saw these beings, the lighting is very similar to the light that they carry.
Let's just allow, as we're talking, those beautiful, beautiful colors, full of the frequency of love and self-love, to just flow throughout Lorena's body, into every cell, surrounding her aura, pushing that energy out, strengthening that aura so that she feels that love. Tell me how that feels.
Feels much needed.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling something that had become empty is not the right word, but like that.
Let's bring that frequency of love and all of those beautiful colors. Let's swirl those into the heart space as well. Just making sure we've released any final energy being held, any sadness, any trauma, any pain, and expanding that energy out so that love flows all throughout her body. And so as we bring our attention back to the left shoulder, how is that looking for her now? Have those layers been healed and released?
There is still some there.
Mm-hmm.
There is some lifetimes as a doing battle on some other planets also that is held there. That is part of what needs to be healed. We are not sure we can do that in this session.
What does she need to do in order to heal that?
We will, these are memories that she has just touched on, but from galactic battles that some people, many people have heard about at this point. Is part of what that she was a part of in several lifetimes. We will start, she will start having more memories. This will start facilitating some of the healing from this.
And so she's also having some pain in her right eye, and she feels like that started when she got a past life vision of being in battle. Well, now she says it's mass destruction on Earth, but does that have anything to do with the battles that you're referring to, or are those different?
They are different.
Okay.
Yeah, she, that is actually, the timing is a little different. It was more like 13,000 years ago.
Okay.
That she was one of the warriors in the planetary battles where they hit Africa, northern Africa, that area, parts of where the Sahara now lies, that whole area. There was battles that existed on Earth back then. She was part of that. She flew one of the that is called a Viamana. She there were weapons that were dropped in that area that created that desert. That was not a desert. That was a beautiful, lush land at one point in the Earth's history. And she did receive a wound to that eye, being hit with energy, a weapon. She was a man in that lifetime, and she did not lose her eye or her eyesight, but it did receive damage. And the energy weapon didn't hit her eye directly, otherwise she would have just been dead. But there was some repercussions from seeing this energy weapon, the radiation from it.
What were those battles over? Who was fighting in those battles?
It was about dominion, dominion on Earth, dominion over Earth.
And so can that eye be healed today for her so that she doesn't have that pain anymore?
We are working on it.
Very good.
Yes, we're bringing that blue, golden, white light into it.
Beautiful. And so back to the shoulders, we're talking about there were battles happening there, but those were off-planet battles. As she receives these visions or these memories, are you saying that as she brings forward that information, that will assist with the releasing of that energy?
Yes, and she will, part of her work is remembering this stuff too, so we are helping to facilitate that.
Okay. Very good. So you mentioned earlier there was a connection with that lifetime that we looked at to her siblings that all died from the 3 that died from cystic fibrosis. Tell us again what that connection was for her. Was that just the difficulty to see someone suffer?
Part of that was seeing her, because she is so empathic and sensitive, taking on sensitivity, taking on other people's stuff and feeling it. Part of her gift. So her lesson about learning to separate from it, learning how to do it, but also her brother, she has had many lifetimes with. They've had agreements to come in and teach each other. So they taught each other lessons in this lifetime, and others also. Part of the same soul group. Her sister, Jana, she is has served for her as a guide and is also really a very evolved soul who also taught her lessons, who still to this day is not serving as a main guide, but comes in and insists on occasion. She was a main guide for a while. So, and they were, her sister was one of the seers in that Greek lifetime. So they worked together.
Was that the one that taught her?
Yes.
Okay. The one that she saw, that she noticed and said that advisor taught me.
Now the advisor is somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. That her sister was one of her, like her sister Seer,
Mm.
because it was a sisterhood. So
Okay.
was sister in this lifetime became her guide. Yeah. Her other brother that died when she was quite young. The lesson for him was more about loss, just loss.
Mm.
Not so much about the disease.
Mm. Are there any messages that any of the siblings would like to bring through for her today?
She feels them around her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that they are there. And she knows she does communicate with them. It's hard not to feel really deep emotion.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
okay.
communicate it.
Yeah. Just let that emotion come out.
And they're just saying, we love you. And we know, or they're saying, we're here. We're always here. Just a thought away.
Beautiful. Why is it that they chose to come in with cystic fibrosis? What was needed to understand there? What does she need to understand about that?
First, they're especially Mile, the youngest, the one that died when he was the youngest. He says, and we know, Mom and Dad were really weird. We're all in agreement. Anyway, I had to share that.
That was good.
So what? Why did they choose that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little difficult to explain. Part of it has to do with the whole family configuration.
Mm.
Family dynamic between mother, father, children, control. There is a lot of control and dominance. It's almost like a whole bunch of issues being resolved in one lifetime, bringing it to heal it through one lifetime.
Mm.
So it was taking on a great challenge. For and also for karma, for karmic lessons for many members. So it's it would take a half hour to explain the whole thing because it's very intermingled between all parties of the family.
Is that why there's so many lung issues?
It has to do with pain.
Okay.
Holding pain, holding grief. Also not communicating, not standing in your power, issues around powerlessness, hopelessness, again, not being able to do anything, having to surrender to what is. All these things are part of the scenario.
Mm-hmm. Is Lorena holding any of these emotions or energies within her lungs that needs to be released today?
Yes. There is the energy of hopelessness, of there's wanting to be able to take their disease so that they don't suffer.
Mm.
That is held in there.
Mm.
Still, the helplessness behind that is still there.
So let's begin to release that energy, all of that hopelessness, all that she's been storing there. And as that energy is being released, we're going to use that beautiful blue, golden, white, those energies we've been working with to begin to fill up and heal those lungs. And as that healing is happening, what does she need to understand about taking that energy on within herself? What do her siblings want her to know to help her to release that completely?
First thing is it is only a lesson, and let it go. And from every point of view, from their point of view also, and from Lorena's point of view, it is only a lesson. And also, part of going through this is creating a sensitivity towards people who need healing, creating a sensitivity in that. But so that's part of it. It's the impetus to, part of it is the impetus to become a healer, but also part of the lesson of not taking it on and finding that space that it doesn't become yours.
Mm.
And which is difficult to do growing up with siblings. It is quite natural to take on other people's pain and suffering, especially if you're really close to them. But in that, there is a karmic bond that can be created when you do that. So again, a fine line between, and this is part of mastery also, energy mastery, soul mastery, not taking that on, learning how to not take that on and be fully present and fully in a place of love.
Very good. So she had a difficult experience when she was around the age of 15. And we just want to see if there's anything that she needs to understand about that experience, or any healing, any trauma that needs to be released from that.
She has released a great deal of this already. There is just need to open the heart for more love to come in, because that was the biggest thing, was the heart. It was a very painful experience, and even though she has healed a lot, there is some heart opening that needs to take place so that she can allow more love in.
Mm-hmm. How would you like to do that for her today? Do we use those lights, or is there another way to expand that heart?
We are sending in golden light, a tube of golden light around her heart right now that is filled with blue, and it's gold with all these other colors: blue, gold, pink, orange. Just beautiful array of colors in these little spheres mixed in with the gold.
Gorgeous.
Sending it through her heart.
And so does that experience, is that the reason that she sometimes has trouble driving on the freeway? Are those two connected? Or is that something different?
It is connected to it. And we say that connected to it because at that time period in life, there was a lot of fear around life, and the decision to just go out into the world and just be outrageous is not quite the right word, just say whatever she wanted to say, and just to express more fully, even though she has always been afraid to fully express, and no matter what, and just to try to live more fully. And then this trauma occurred after her decision to be open. And so that is where it comes from, is that she decided to be open and fully express herself. And then this trauma occurred just like 2 or 3 months later. So, and that just smacked her back into that place of, not trusting herself, or that being safe to express fully. And this is why she gets sick a lot. She's on the verge of being more open and just really living her purpose fully, and then it is something she still deals with. She's done a lot of healing, but there is still this back and forth whenever she gets ready to express herself, and really be fully emerge into the world and with her gifts. It's a combination of not trusting herself and not trusting being safe in the world.
So as we've done this releasing and healing for her today, will that assist her with being able to step more fully into who she's meant to be?
Yes. This is her purpose. And also being a healer, that one always has a story about how one became healed to become a healer.
Yes.
They go together.
Very good. And so she's also had the hyperthyroid. Can we find out what's going on there and see if that can be healed for her today?
Okay, the hyperthyroid occurred after having a child and through this trauma. So that was affected. It is both a physical and emotional, mental thing combined created it. And yes, we can activate some healing there.
Very good. And any chakras in the body that are blocked? I know we worked quite a bit on that throat, and there was some energy coming up. How is that chakra looking, that area?
There is definitely a darker area there that needs to be healed.
Is that an attachment or anything that needs to be removed?
It is just energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just bringing in some of those beautiful energies we've been working with today to heal that. And any other chakras that looked blocked or anything that needs to be released while we're doing this work.
The solar plexus chakra,
Mm-hmm.
because that is what we show to the world, what that energy that pushes us out into the world.
Mm-hmm. And what does that solar plexus need today?
We are working on the solar plexus, the heart and the throat together, because they are for her where the way the three work together for her. So we will start working on that.
Very good. Thank you.
We're going to do a pyramidal shape around that.
Beautiful.
The golden light and the other colors.
Very good. So you mentioned that and that was one of her questions, that every time she starts to get busy in her healing business, she ends up getting sick with a cold or a cough, something like that. What does she need to know about what's causing that to happen?
It is what we were addressing. Yeah.
Okay. And so she wants to know if there's any blocks other than we've already looked at that are holding her back from being successful. Or is that just not quite stepping forward yet?
There are still some patterns coming from mother and father about being in the world. And how to be in the world. That are still some belief systems that come from them and generationally about you cannot be too good at something. You'll get too much attention, or you'll get will be wrong there. Somebody will try and kick you back down, type of thing, back into your place.
So, what would you like her to know about that?
It's completely ridiculous. These are the part of healing. Part of healing is recognizing these old patterns and then bringing them to light. And sometimes just bringing them to light can energetically open them up and heal them. And just seeing where they are in the body, and we are showing her right now. Where it is held. It is actually behind the heart, but it's connected to all those three chakras where that is held. We are releasing it right now. Now, that does not mean that it will not try and come back. But if one is conscious, then you can just feel it trying to come back in and recognize it and just say, no, this is not the truth. And that is it.
Very good. It's kind of an important time now for her to be bringing her gifts in.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. She wants to know, is there any advice that you can give her about growing her healing business?
The business itself, or how to be a better healer?
Well, she wants to know that as well. How could she become a better healer, psychic, and a medium?
she needs to work on doing more personal clearing on herself, which she does, but not enough.
What is the very best way for her to do that clearing work?
She can use a pendulum. It can be incredibly effective.
Hmm.
She is very good at pendulum work. Also, she doesn't need any advice on that. She's pretty much got that down. Doing the energy exercises, where she embodies and moves the energy around her body. She knows what they are. She already does them, but not enough, and she could do them standing up. It could be considered a form of qigong in a way, but actually is not. Yeah, we're kind of expanding, because she does it lying down and sitting down, but actually doing it standing up and moving energy in the ways that she does, like moving the energy up and down through her body, through her chakras, specifically through the spine. Interesting, through the eyes, in particular shapes. Yes, we will be giving her more information about that. We're giving some of it to her right now. To practice and experiment with is going to assist her a lot. Yeah, it's bringing more clarity to. It will bring more clarity to her work when she does her energy work for other people. All of the mediumship, the psychic work, all of it. Yeah.
Very good. And she said she's been getting a lot of information on manifesting and creation techniques. And she's wondering if this should be a part of her focus or what she needs to know about that.
She has already started putting that information out there into the world. In just, she is at the beginning phase of that. She needs to do more studying, and there are some really good books on creation, like the reality transurfing books. Is an incredibly practical way of using it. She needs to study that and understand it more clearly, because it is so concise about how to use these techniques in a real world way, dealing with things. And also, she needs to write these things down. So her writing these things down will help her solidify them in a way that she is not doing, so that when it's solidified, she can communicate it better. And it will become more clear, and more techniques will come as she does that.
Very good. She's also wondering about relationships. It's been a good bit since she's been in a relationship, and she's wondering if there's anyone coming in the future or if there's any blocks about her being with someone she needs to be aware of.
Could we possibly take a really quick break?
Yes, absolutely. So moving back to the question we were just looking at, and about being in a relationship, if there are any blocks around this, or what does she need to know about that?
In this lifetime, she shut down pretty early, as a love coming from her parents. And so at some point, she just did not trust that it would come to her. Like the belief system that it just wasn't there for her. Although, even though she can love greatly, it doesn't come back. And this comes from both mother and father, and just completely shutting down at some point. She had actual moments of like, they're just not there for me. And so so there's a part of her that does not trust that that she can have that, because she did not grow up feeling a lot of love.
What would you like her to know about that, though?
That she is love.
The
part of her heart that shut down, it is a small part, but quite significant.
Can we open that part of her heart back up for her today?
What we want to say to her is that when she is in that space of love, because she can command that and hold it and send it through other people when she does healing, and feel that when she is doing healing, all that needs to be done is to actually just reverse that energy and to send it to herself. And so that energetically we are seeing if we can facilitate that.
And so if she can begin to let go of some of this that came from her parents, how will that open her up to receiving or connecting with another person?
Can you say that again? How will it be?
As she does this work to open up her heart, to let go of maybe the challenges that she felt with not receiving that love from her parents, how will that change her life and allow love to come in, to have that relationship, to connect with a person that's meant for her? Will that open that space up for her so that she can meet someone?
Absolutely. And we must say that it is meant to be in this lifetime that she has this. For one, being so giving to other people when she does her energy work, that it does not come in just one direction, that she is meant to be loved also through, even though we are love, she is meant to be loved through the arms of someone else. And we are sending her this feeling and emotion of that. And it is not that she has never felt this. At this point, it has just been a long time, and there have been moments, but it has just not been as part of her support system, shall we say.
Is there a specific person that she's meant to meet eventually, or does she have options?
There is a possibility of two. One for sure. So she can choose, is the point. And she gets to have fun. Yeah.
Very good. So she had an experience about 10 years ago where she saw with her eyes open about 10 to 12 beings of light, very angelic. What can you tell her about those beings?
These beings, these beings are her family,
Hmm.
family of light. They are her family. This is her soul family. This is what they look like. We realize that there are lots of stories about souls that look like just orbs of light.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, these beings are not just orbs of light. They are angelic looking beings. They are not angelic. They are, yes, this is where she came from. They are eighth dimensional beings. They are not her higher self. As her first perception, she thought that it was her higher self. They are, it is a little bit difficult to get information because the energy is a little bit overwhelming.
Mm.
It's
Is she feeling their energy right now?
yes,
Mm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to say the higher self is the higher self, and there can be a representation of the higher self that we see as the higher self. This is not what she was seeing either, and we wanted to clarify that because she's also had an experience where she was aware of her higher self, but also aware of her Christed self and aware of herself simultaneously connected, and seeing the actual energy line between these three beings. The higher self is so large in energy that it is actually hard to see it without using a representation of what it looks like. And so that's why a lot of people say, oh, I saw my higher self. And Lorena has done the same thing. So we just wanted to clarify these beings. And there are definitely beings on Earth who are connected to their eighth dimensional self who come from this line. They are part of a galactic family that has not been identified in this world with a name.
Mm.
But there are other beings on Earth who are connected also.
Do they have a name, or is it more of like a sound, or is there a way to identify them?
Okay. Well, they are from the eighth dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Giving me a symbol. The figure 8 turned on its side is infinity.
Mm-hmm.
And for her personally to just call them the infinite ones because they are associated with working with that sign. That's the galactic.
Beautiful. What do these beings do? Like, what is their role?
I was starting to get that information.
Okay, good.
Okay, part of what they are doing is, and they are not the only beings that are doing this, but specifically they are helping humans. They're helping them to create this is not quite the right word, create or manifest the new earth, because the new earth is already created, and as we go towards this more everything that brings, as we go towards, having greater abilities, our gifts, our understandings, all of these things, what we're doing here, connecting enlightenment, all of these things that we are going towards, they are assisting with actually creating the structure, creating the structures that humans, as they move forward in this, they're assisting them in creating those structures, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The actual like energetic structure of the thing, like the blueprint of, like, say, well, everything is from energy, and so as things come from energy, they enter the blueprint. The structure looks like something. That blueprint creates the thing, or the template of what it is. So they're in there creating, helping to create the blueprint, the templates with humans to create the manifestation of the thing. And they're, so because all these possibilities are here and do exist, but the energetic structure comes into form, as comes into, it brings, it's hard to say.
It's hard to put it into our words, isn't it? What they do.
Bringing it, it's as it comes into being, there is a structure to it, and we assist with that, with the humans, and also with the greater realities, what those look like and how to bring them in, and we also help with dimensional work also, because we are a higher dimensional being, and so learning how to assist with probabilities, timelines, it's part of it has to do with assisting, also helping the being, the human who is spirit, helping them with the actual visualization of the things that they want to create and bringing it through. And there are other beings, the higher self assists with that also, but there's it's getting in there and putting the structure in, if that makes sense. Oh, and the dimensional shifting, how to be multidimensional, living in several dimensions at once, and it's not, and we already exist in several, all dimensions at once. That is a given, but that how to bring consciousness into those different places and play in several different dimensions at once and hold that space. We assist with that also, and Lorena has gotten bits of that, has experienced some of that.
Very good. So can you explain to us a little bit more about, because she's mentioned having some pretty amazing visions, not quite dreams, but feeling very dreamlike. Is that what she's doing, experiencing those multiple dimensions?
That is us and other beings assisting her with what she is supposed to be doing. And through time, we have assisted her with some things, but also bringing her forward in a lot of this is how to heal, and bringing that into awareness. So some of these visions actually seeing them and experiencing them as self brings that into this lifetime, being able to experience that and bring those energies through and to assist other people. Did that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, are there any messages or information that these beings would like to bring forward for us today about where we are, what we need to know, where we're going? What would they like to share?
This 3D reality that most humans are experiencing is so much more vast than what we believe that we can experience. And part of what is happening and also going towards is experiencing this multi-dimensional reality, these different pieces of ourselves that we can experience, finding out who we all really are, and to look at life more as a playground instead of so serious. And yes, it is serious, and there are many serious things, and most people are living through them right now. But if we can go to this place of creation, what we want to create, look at it as a playground, a manifestation playground, experiencing multidimensional reality in different ways and learning what that looks like and what that feels like and how that manifests in this lifetime, now in this reality. Learning those things and then playing with it as if it is a playground, because in a sense it is. And this is, if you can look at creation that lightheartedly as a playground, it can become fun and easy and instantaneous. And the trick is not to stay out of the drama. And that doesn't mean to be in denial of what is going on around you. Still need to go to the dentist and the grocery store. But there is such a greater reality that is to be unwrapped, because it is already there. To start playing with these thoughts and questions of how to do that and experiment. And again, it's a playground to have fun.
Beautiful. Is there anything that you'd like to bring forward specifically for Lorena today?
To have more fun.
Play on that playground, huh?
Indeed. The biggest thing for Lorena is that to make sure she keeps clearing her energy field, and to build her energy field, and to also when the voices of the past try to step forward, because this is for all people go through this, that when the voices of the past try and step forward, know that those are just old voices that are trying to re-engage, to stay alive. And they're just old energy structures that still have a little bit of energy still to them that are trying to reattach. They are not her truth. They are not the truth at all. It's just energy that's trying to stay alive. And so do not choose to listen to them. Stay in the moment, stay centered, step forward in her power, and then have some fun playing in that playground. And to know also that the work she is doing is real, and also that sometimes, when doing this kind of work, because it is so non-tangible in the physical sense, as far as, it's not building a house, that one can forget how powerful it is, and also how the purpose in it, the power in it, and how valid it is, and that it is incredibly powerful and beautiful and healing. And to remember that, and to remember the connection that happens when you do this work, and that when you're working with several people at once or just one-on-one, that how powerful it becomes when you're doing it. And that when you're in that and doing it, remember that part. And then to also remember that grows that same energy exponentially, so that it is not just you, it is not just the person or the groups that you're working, that energy goes out into waves and affects other people too, and it grows and grows and grows. And that is where we are headed.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for that information. So she did have another experience about 15 years ago where she saw what appeared to be like a level open up, and 5 very tall orb-like beings. Now, were these the same beings that we're speaking with now, or were these different beings that she was seeing?
Yes, they were the same beings. They were the same family. Her family of light. Yeah.
So can you tell her what happened when there was one gentleman that seemed to disappear from his chair, and then she lost track of some time in between there where she felt like she may have disappeared? What was happening there?
Yes, he is one of the members of that light, the eighth dimensional beings. He was one of those beings, and so is she. And they did take her. She doesn't remember because she saw him disappear. Mm-hmm. It was shocking to her. Mm-hmm. So they shut down that memory, and what they were doing was working with her like they do in some of those when we move to going to those states of beings, like the luminous body, or some of the higher bodies. Mm-hmm. When we work with them, we take her there. That's what we were doing that time. Yeah, her astral sight was really turned on that night. She has that anyway, but yeah. Normally people do not see things like that. But she was in a very, very deep state of meditation and awareness. And he did not see them. He was just suddenly in a different place.
So when they're taken in that way, those memories are completely wiped. So it's as if they don't experience anything, really.
they do experience, absolutely.
Mm.
They do not remember because there are, well, he may have remembered, he just doesn't remember being taken away or out because he did not see. He was just suddenly there. She saw them, and so that's why we wiped it, because it shocked her to see him disappearing. And so we did not want what we were doing to cloud that experience.
Mm. And so you're physically taking the body to another place?
It's actually not. We are taking the astral body out.
Okay.
Is what it is. But she was seeing astrally, and so she was seeing on the astral plane, and so what she saw was him completely disappearing. And so the chair moved back a couple of feet, but what actually happened, everybody else who could have been looking on the physical plane, it looked like he was still sitting there.
Interesting. So you said do you take her often? Do you take her astrally often to do this type of work with her?
We do not like the word take, actually.
How would you, what would be a better way of saying it? Invite? She's part of your family, so it's not like an abduction.
Come with us.
Come with us. Join us.
Join us, yes. An invitation.
Beautiful.
We are working together. Her soul knows that we are working together. Her higher self knows.
Yeah. So does she join you often then?
And we assist. We assist her. That is a good word. We assist her in so that it is easy to come out of the body without trauma and easy to go back into the body without any unusual happenings.
Beautiful. So speaking of the astral traveling, she mentioned that when she was a child, it was very easy for her to do the astral projection, but she had a very difficult time coming back into the body. What was happening there?
Because she is connected to us, we did take her out many times. Part of what was this family that she chose to live with, and we spoke of that earlier, there was a lot of pain and suffering, and so we took her out a lot so that otherwise she might not have survived, because there was a lot of pain and unhappiness. So we did that and when she was coming back in, what was happening, that there was such a disconnect between, or no, not the right word. Her vibration from hanging out where we are and her coming back is so great that it really was very, very difficult. And there's a shift that needs to take place that was not, it's coming down through the dimensions. There's a shift, a more full integration that needs to take place, and she wasn't fully ready when she popped back in. So it wasn't a smooth transition. And being in those higher states, there is such incredible sensitivity, incredible knowingness, and like of all energies. So coming back in is incredibly difficult because there's a moment when you feel all those things come together. And it was almost as if it was too fast, if it would, and but it really couldn't be done any differently.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually leaves her body a lot. In fact, most people do. She just needs to become more conscious of astral projection. She just needs to work at it a little more. The energy exercises that that she knows of will really help a lot, because it does actually kind of loosen up the astral body so that it can move out of the body more easily. It's going to happen. It is going to happen, and it's part of her progression too, because she used to do it when she was young all the time. That at some point she will do it a lot and consciously.
Is that something that many people will begin to do, be able to project like that?
Yes, as we move forward, as consciousness grows, and we are going forward to that, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it, that humanity actually is moving forward. There is some backflow to that, of course, but anyway, so yes, moving forward, astral projection is one of the things that should be done. We don't like the word should. Can be done to progress the consciousness. It is an invaluable way of actually doing it. And there are a lot of people who say that that you shouldn't do it, that you have to be really careful. You're going to bring some attachments back with you and or entities. And this, we have to say about that, at some point we all, in all consciousness work, at some point you have to face your fears. And in fears happen in physical reality. They happen on other realities too, especially astral. So at some point you will come across something that may scare you, but it could be like facing the dragon. It's the hero's journey. You face the dragon and it turns into nothing. It turned into just an illusion. So it is part of conquering your fears also, doing astral projection. Now, if you're not ready, you are not ready. But it is, once you can start doing this or really start moving towards it, you will have more lucid dreams. You will have more consciousness, more psychic awareness. All of these gifts come with astral projection. And actually, they're not really gifts. They're what should be. They're just wrapped up in a lot of belief systems. But yes, astral projection is one of the best tools that one can use to help in growth of consciousness, and especially your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. And also one thing that it is really, really beneficial for is to control your emotions. You have to learn how to control your emotions, which is part of mastery also, whether you're flying through galaxies or here on Earth. Controlling your emotions is part of mastery. So it will actually assist you in learning how to do that.
Very good. And she's wondering why she couldn't remember where she was traveling to when she was a kid.
She would not have wanted to come back. Ever.
Oh.
And all she would do is she would just long for home. And she would not have been, again, she might have ended her life early.
No.
for longing to be there and not be here. And she has a purpose here, and that is why. Truly, she would not have ever. It would have been a big struggle getting her to come back, or not taking her life from wanting to not be here.
So, other than being a healer, which we know that she's very gifted at, what else is her purpose? What else does she need to understand about her path or her role in this life?
Part of it is, and she is a healer, but not just a healer, is to help people. There's several things. One is to help people access these levels of awareness, to help bring understanding to these levels of awareness so that they too can have these same experiences. And also, in fact, that's a big part of it, to assist other people to have these experiences. And also to help bring more understanding about creation and manifestation and those techniques.
Very good. And she said when she was a child, there was a being that would be standing at the foot of her bed. She felt like helping her. Is that one of the beings that we're talking with today, or was that a different being that was assisting, helping her to come back into the body?
I'm not clear.
Okay.
Is that
when she was astral projecting?
Oh,
as a child, she said she felt like there was a being standing at the foot of her bed.
Okay. Yes, that was one of us.
Okay.
That was yes, one of the family. Yeah.
Are you able to take not a physical form, but more of a form that we would be able to see, or was she able to see that because she was still in a higher dimension, or still in the astral?
Oh, when she was a child, you mean?
Yes, when she was a child.
She just had that type of awareness.
Okay. She just knew you were there. Okay. Very good. And so when she was 20 years old, or 20 years old, she had a full-on visitation from an angelic looking being. I'm assuming it might possibly be the same family, but she said it was almost like a father time was the way that this being could be described. White beard, lots of white draped robes. What can you tell her about this being that she saw?
Okay. For many years, she has been calling it she assumed it was some sort of archangel, angelic being. And it switched to Melchizedek, the Ascended Masters. It is actually, and this is through other channelers and these types of beings that give information. What it actually is, one of the family, her family, coming to check on her, because we knew this particular time period that she was having a really hard time. So we actually made the particular guide who did this, what made himself look a little different. So it looked a little more what humans think of as angelic. Yeah, because when she saw us, when she what was 10 years ago or so, when we visited her that one time, that is what we look like. She saw us as we look like. This one, when she was about 20, we wanted it to, it was looking, he looked like that because it had to be in her realm of belief. like what angels look like, what
Mm-hmm.
angels look like. Yeah, and that was he was sending her healing energy. Also, she did not have that awareness at the time, because she definitely needed some healing. But that was a very special visit, just to let her know that. Because she really needed to know that she had guides and helpers with her, helping her.
Beautiful. So she's also wanting to know, where is she from? Which I know is really difficult because we're from so many different places, but what are some of the most important things that you can share with her today?
Uh, we are, and she is, the eighth dimensional being. Part of our realm comes from a place that is unnamed. But we do want to say that our particular part of the galaxy, we're eighth. There is also parts of us are also ninth dimensional. So it's a blending of eighth and ninth dimensional place. The place where we live, our we live on. It is a sphere that is a place. It is of light, and the buildings are of light. They are structured light. They are incredibly beautiful. Lorena has seen this once when she has a pre-life memory. She has knowledge of being here. What can we say about it? It is hard to describe, but it is. There are many beings here on Earth that are not just from Orion, Sirius, Arcturus, Pleiades, and the Pleiades. There are so much more. And so, okay, what I am showing Lorena right now is what the name looks like in writing.
It's simple. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a symbol. And at some point, she will start drawing that,
Mm.
and we will give her more information as it comes through. That is, we cannot give much more information than that. But what it will start happening on Earth is, as consciousness grows, more and more people will start receiving information from their families, their star families, galactic families, and we'll start bringing more and more of this information out, and so this knowledge will grow through other people also.
Very good. Can you give us a little idea of what life is like for you on your, would we call it a planet? You said a sphere, so it's made of light. So it's probably different than what we understand, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a sphere. So if you want, you can call it a planet.
Okay.
It is quite large. We work with, so mainly what we do is we work with each other and work with other, like Earth itself right now is going through this transition. So we work with other places through other galaxies that are maybe growing also, that need extra assistance. So we send our family to these places to assist. Growing from growing from one dimension to another. And so we work with each other, working with constructs of light and creating, materializing, using, of course, sound, thought, energy, vibration, and creating structures. And so our day consists of doing this, but also working with each other, growing our own consciousness also as we assist others. We are, at this point, we are above the realms of assisting in battles. We do not do battle and with other planetary or other galactic. We do not fight at this point. We have moved up and beyond that. But we assist in consciousness growth, helping others, other planets like Earth. And this has been a long, as she's been here, Lorena was in that lifetime 13,000 years ago. Of course, she was not a regular human, that what we think of now, but very close, but not quite. Humans looked a little different, but very similar structure. But that was very similar structure, but a little bit different, like the skin color. Anyway, we have, what the point is that this has been a really long road, assisting Earth, because she also has different parts that have been on different planets, doing this work and being a warrior fighting on ships. So she has assisted with those things, like stepping down the energy and working in a different dimension, doing this work, being in battle. But in the 8th dimension, 9th dimension, that it is, there is no longer a battle.
So would you say these battles are still ongoing, or would these be past battle experiences as we would think about it here?
Oh, that is a really interesting question. This gets into parallel realities and different parts of self, and the no time and all time and being simultaneous. So yes, there is a part that is fighting a battle on Orion and on Sirius. Even a Palladian family, part of a Palladian family doing this. But this really stretches the consciousness.
So when you say these different, the Pleiadian and are these different aspects of her soul that are currently in these battles?
In different, some in different times, some in this time, some not. So this is the confusion about that time. And so what can be, say, so Lorena was a seer back in Greece. She can tap into that lifetime, into those abilities, and use that ability, connect into that, and ask for that ability now. It's sort of like time jumping, using that ability now in this lifetime, almost like that person she was then, blend with that and bring that energy in to assist her, or as a Palladian 6th dimensional being, connecting into that lifetime, who was a healer, and bring that energy in and ask for assistance from that part of her that is there in a sense, because there is no time. Bring that energy in, ask for assistance from that healer who is 6-dimensional to come in and assist with healing now in this lifetime. Even though it is that is in the past, it still exists. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. Yeah.
These are difficult concepts to see in 3D reality.
It is, and I'm looking forward to the day where we have expanded our consciousness a little bit more and it makes more sense, because I'm fascinated with the parallel realities and the different dimensions and all the things. Very good. So she had a dream last night that was quite dark, and she was in a war zone, captured as a female prisoner. Does that have anything to do with those battles that we were looking at, maybe that were even stored in the shoulder, or is that something different?
That is a different lifetime that she's starting to clear out.
Okay.
Because she cleared some of that out last night. That was she was a prisoner in a lifetime where this is back in 1600s, where she was captured, and she was hooked up. She was chained to or tied up to a wagon wheel and couldn't move, and it's raining and it's muddy and it's dark, it's night, she's wounded, and it's freezing cold, and this is part of the hopelessness, because in that place there was a hopelessness, because there is nothing you can do, and you can only surrender to where you are. She has issues around being cold, and she jokes about it all the time. And this is part of her healing some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and also in connection with today, part of that had to do with knowing that just her higher self, knowing that this session was happening today, kind of facilitating some early healing, clearing. Because also that sense of hopelessness is when one is in that position, that is what will most likely occur, is hopelessness, and so that was healed today.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And how is the physical body looking? Anything else that we need to take a look at before I bring her back?
There is a spot in her heart that still needs to be healed. That's almost like a hole in her heart. It's like a
what can we use to fill that hole?
So we're going to put a big orb of light, completely surrounding that part of the body.
Beautiful.
And moving that energy. All right, that is better.
Very good. Just bringing one final through her body, just making sure that everything that was released is healed, transformed, and brought into the light. And when we first started this session, I noticed I don't know what it was, but it looked like a lot of color that sort of exploded out around her face. I'm not sure if I was catching the light coming into the room or if I was seeing something else. Can you confirm that for me?
You got a glimpse of what we look like.
Oh my goodness. My heart. Well, you're beautiful. I said I couldn't describe it. I said there's so many colors. It's like crystalline is the only thing that I could describe it as.
And that's our our planet, our sphere. Is very crystalline.
Well, if I could go there, I wouldn't come back either. So
Yeah. Beautiful.
beautiful. How were Lorena and I connected today for our session?
How are we connected?
Yeah, do we have any past lives or any connections there?
Interesting. Okay, so I am seeing you as on horses, and we are both on horses. We're riding horses, and we are part of the school in that the Seer, where Lorena was trained to be a seer. We are both there.
Wow.
In that school, and what I'm seeing, for some reason, you did a lot of that training, because I am seeing you as a older, not older, a young woman, like in 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You left the school because you wanted to get married and have children, but so we were part of the same sisterhood.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that. Any final messages that you'd like to bring through for Lorena today?
The biggest thing, again, is to stay out of the drama. Don't listen to it. Don't. There are always important things that need to be known, and they will come. People will tell you. Don't worry. But there is so much energy being projected at her and all humans to stay in the chaos and to be afraid. So step out of it as much as possible. Always keep in mind what you are creating. If you can stay in that place of what you are creating, so you've already made the decision of what you want to create, what you are creating, stay in that place, have that be your focus. And if you can learn to operate from that place, you will not get sucked into the chaos. And that doesn't mean that you don't know what's going on around you. It means that you're in a place of creation where you can act, where you can take action that is appropriate and has clarity and awareness and more choices, a lot more choices. So that is the biggest thing for now and going into the future, and to be the love that we are, we are beings of love. We are created from love. We are love. And meditation and energy work and clearing yourself will bring you back to that place so that you remember who you are. Your biggest task is to remember who you are and stay there and create. And that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for all the information, and thank you for sharing more about who you are and your role at this time. We're so grateful.
You're welcome. I'm sure we will do this again.
I would absolutely be honored.